Welcome back to Open Line tonight. We are talking about the transgender bills making their way through the state legislature right now. We went through those in detail during our last segment. We'll do it again before the end of the show. So stay with us if you're still questioning where those things stand right now. But I want to talk a little bit more in depth with our guest tonight, Dahron Johnson with the Tennessee Equality Project. Thank you again for being here, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I think you're brave. You've done several stories with us on the news side of things with our reporter Kyle Horan. We have seen you talk in front of the state legislature. It's not every day that I have to go in front of a room full of lawmakers and discuss my personal feelings and my life story and my gender identity. You are very open about it. You are a transgender woman. You are a transgender athlete. You are boldly speaking out against some of this legislation. I want to talk about your childhood when you knew things you just didn't feel right. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. So I want you to tell your own story.
Well, I appreciate that opportunity. I appreciate this opportunity in general, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk about that a little bit as well. And I think the best way to describe it is that there was a point at which I just really became conscious that inside didn't match outside. And I think that in some ways this is almost the toughest thing to convey to somebody who hasn't felt that type of discordance, that type of match between how other people perceive them and how they understand themselves or are trying to understand themselves. And that for me really started when I first kind of recognized I was a self among other selves, right? We have that point in our childhood when it's us and the rest of the world, right? Or I am and I am the world, right? But at the point where you start really creating relationships with other folks is also the point at which I realized, you know, what I'm understanding people perceive of me is not how I understand myself. Luckily, I have parents. My dad's still alive. My mom died a couple of years ago. But for both of them throughout their life, right, really affirmed who I was exactly who they wanted me to be, right? And that allowed me to have confidence of self going forward, even at the same time I was questioning, well, everybody, like my parents are saying that I'm good enough kind of just the way I am, but then why don't I feel that same type of confidence and assurance about who I am internally? And I think that one of the biggest challenges culturally that we have, and is really perpetuated by the variety of LGBTQ marginalizing and anti-trans legislation that we see now, is all of those things play into a cultural language that already stigmatizes